I've been binging on the German sci-fi series Dark on Netflix. Now this show is a brain scrambler. I've gone through the first season and it's so confusing that I've taken pen and paper and actually plotted down the family tree. Don't worry, it's not a spoiler or anything. In season 3 of Dark, apparently things get even more confusing. But you know what is as confusing as Dark? Well, the identity of the POCO M2 Pro. Now the POCO M2 Pro is a rebadged Redmi Note 9 Pro global variant. Now it has a few tweaks. The design of the POCO M2 Pro is the same as the Redmi Note 9 Pro global variant, but it doesn't have the same 64 megapixel quad camera stack. Instead, it has a 48 megapixel quad camera stack. Now the 64 megapixel quad camera setup on the Redmi Note 9 Pro global variant is similar as the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max in India, whereas the 48 megapixel quad camera on the POCO M2 Pro is similar to the Redmi Note 9 Pro in India. Now the other thing that is different is also the chargers that you get inside the box and the charging capability. Now the Redmi Note 9 Pro is the slowest charging of the lot, the Redmi Note 9 Pro Indian variant, which comes with an 18 watt charger inside the box. The POCO M2 Pro actually comes with a 33 watt charger inside the box, which is the same as the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max in India. The Redmi Note 9 Pro globally actually comes with a 30 watt charger inside the box. That was really tough. So as you can see, the POCO M2 Pro has a really confused identity in our country. But does that mean that the product itself is bad? No, actually not. Because for what it's worth, it is a good deal to begin with. I'm Ashar from Mr. Phone, and this is my full review of the newly launched POCO M2 Pro. But before we move on, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever Mr. Phone puts out an awesome new tech video. Also, we're building communities over at Telegram and Instagram, links to which should be in the description below. Now, if you've seen the Note 9 Pro, you've seen the POCO M2 Pro and vice versa. Essentially, you get the same Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protected glass sandwich form factor with a plastic outer frame and metal inner frame. The two-tone design on the rear is the same as the Redmi Note 9 Pro global variant. I think this looks better than the Note 9 Pro Indian variant. All said and done, this design is almost as good as any flagship phone and the build feels equally premium. And when it comes to handling, the M2 Pro is a big phone but has great ergonomics. You will need two hands for most tasks, but if you do use it with one hand, the phone will remain put and won't really fall off. POCO has also added a P2i nano coating to ensure the internal parts are water resistant and dust resistant to a certain extent. Then you have your side mounted fingerprint scanner on the right edge, which is blazing fast, and I don't even have to say it. The volume rocker that sits above it offers very good tactile feedback. You get a Type-C USB 2.0 port at the bottom, flanked on the left by the headphone jack and the right by the speaker grill. There's an infrared port on the top as well, which is something that we've seen with most Xiaomi phones. To sum it up, the M2 Pro is just a better looking Note 9 Pro / Note 9 Pro Max. As for the display, you get a massive 6.67-inch IPS LCD panel on the front. Unlike the Realme 6 that has a 90Hz panel, you only get a 60Hz refresh rate on the M2 Pro. However, everything else from the color to the brightness to the vibrancy is better on the Note 9 Pro. This is one of the best LCDs you can find on a phone under Rs 15K. But the same display is also present on the Note 9 Pro. Nothing unique here yet again. By the way, for those wondering, the phone supports HDR but not on Netflix. Netflix streaming tops out at full HD res thanks to the support for Widevine L1. You can watch HDR videos on YouTube though. Also, I have to say this, the haptic feedback from the touch substrate is great for a sub 15K phone. I do have one problem, and that is the hole punch notch tends to cut too close to the top elements of apps. It extends too far below the display. Now the POCO M2 Pro sets itself apart from the Note 9 Pro series by providing software that is devoid of ads. That's enough for me to recommend the M2 Pro over the Note 9 Pro. You get the amazing POCO launcher and an appealing software experience with customization options galore. You can see that I have changed my icon pack here. If there's something that I find annoying, it has to be the litter of third-party apps or bloatware. Now the M2 Pro's quad camera stack on the rear is the same as the one found on the Note 9 Pro. You get a 48 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, 5 megapixel macro camera and a 2 MP depth sensor. And from my testing, I can also safely say that the pictures look very similar to the Note 9 Pro as well. If you take a look at this picture of Misa captured using both the phones, you can tell that the phones capture identical looking pictures. There is literally nothing different. From the slightly boosted reds to the details at close crop, the Poco M2 Pro and the Note 9 Pro are basically using the same sensor and same algorithm. You can see fairly sharp details, but if you want more details, you can also shoot in 48 megapixel mode using the phones. Just ensure that there is ample light, or use the Pro mode to shoot raw. By the way, you also get the same Pro Color mode imported from the Note 9 Pro. This is similar to Realme's Dazzle Color mode. Basically, it takes a regular picture and picks up the saturation to make it look more attractive and Instagram ready. I'm not a fan considering it makes the pictures look extremely oversaturated, but most people could like it. What I like about the Note 9 Pro and the Poco M2 Pro is the dynamic range performance is pretty good. The cameras do a good job of controlling the highlights to showcase more details. I'd have ideally liked it if the algorithm would have picked more details from the shadows, because currently the darkest areas look slightly crushed. But this is great too. I mean, I have no complaints as such. Portraits from both the M2 Pro and the Note 9 Pro look great. Poco follows the same linear portrait algorithm that gradually increases the intensity of the blur to separate the background from the foreground. For example, the shirt around my right shoulder is also blurred apart from the background. Anyway, it does a good job of edge detection too. For the most part, most folks are going to like the portraits captured by this phone. The phone also has an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. It maintains parity with the main camera when it comes to colors, but tends to blow out the highlights. The 16 megapixel selfie camera takes good looking selfies, but it tends to pick up the reds on the face. Also, I generally prefer selfies captured by Realme phones in this price category. They are better in capturing the right face tones and details too. Anyway, switching to the selfie portraits, you can see it looks good on both the phones. Xiaomi generally does a good job of portraits, especially with the edge detection like I mentioned before. Low light selfies now come with night mode support. Instead of making it look good, the night mode merely brightens the whole picture. Not really a fan. My most favorite camera in this quad camera stack is the 5 megapixel macro. It takes extremely sharp close-ups with good color accuracy as well. Plus, you can also shoot 1080p videos with the macro camera. While the details look great on this video, there is a fair amount of focus hunting that happens, which makes the video nearly unusable. If you can get a locked in focus of a subject, that would make for a better macro video. Low light performance is generally okay too, not excellent or anything. You get soft details and noise at close crop. And the night mode doesn't do much to cut the noise levels and ends up accentuating it instead. The picture does get brighter for what it is worth. You can shoot up to 4K 30fps video using the Poco M2 Pro. You do get sharp details, but there is no image stabilization and the colors are boosted a lot. I do like the dynamic range performance though. Also, the sound recording is pretty decent.
Hey guys, now I'm shooting a 4K 30fps video using the Poco M2 Pro to figure out what what the image quality looks like, how's the sound recording, how's the dynamic range performance, and so I'm shooting against the light now. You can see that it tends to bring out details from the highlights but ends up crushing the shadows, which is very similar to what it does with the picture processing as well. This is at 4K 30fps. There doesn't seem to be any sort of image stabilization here.
You can also shoot at 1080p 60 fps, but you don't get image stabilization again. Thankfully, the colors are well controlled and the dynamic range continues to be great. But for most people, 1080p 30 fps with EIS is going to be the go-to shooting resolution. Unfortunately, you have to live with the crop factor. By the way, you can also shoot 1080p 30 fps video using the ultra-wide angle camera. While it looks good with stabilization also available, you can see noise even in good lighting conditions. Plus, you don't get dynamic range improvements either. Overall, the camera performance of the Poco M2 Pro is not shabby or anything. You'll actually appreciate the picture processing for a sub 15,000 phone. Having said that, and I might be playing the broken record over here again, the Poco M2 Pro does nothing in terms of differentiating itself from the Redmi Note 9 Pro. There's not even a separate shooting mode that you can talk about, which is kind of sad. The internal specs of the Poco M2 Pro are once again the same as the Redmi Note 9 Pro / Note 9 Pro Max. There's a Snapdragon 720G chip powering the phone with 3 different RAM/ROM variants, 4/64, 6/64 and 6/128. It is extremely powerful, power efficient and responsive as well. I had a blast playing Call of Duty. Plus the general everyday performance was top notch too. Really, no complaints here. Here's a benchmark comparison on screen between the best phones under Rs 15,000. You can pause to check it in detail. Moving on, the audio performance through the 3.5mm headphone jack was satisfactory, and so was the mono speaker. Nothing extraordinary here really. Again, the 4G VoLTE performance was great on Airtel 4G through and through. No surprises there either. The M2 Pro has a 5000 mAh battery with a 33-watt charger inside the box. I tested the charging speeds twice and the phone could be charged from 0 to 100 in an hour and 30 minutes flat. This is a good 30 minutes faster than the Note 9 Pro when I had tested it. Moreover, I got a consistent screen on time of over 8 hours on the phone with moderate to heavy usage. This is excellent battery performance. Under Rs 15,000, the Poco M2 Pro is actually a great phone and probably even better than the Redmi Note 9 Pro, primarily because it comes with a 33-watt charger inside the box, and of course you get an ad-free software experience. Heck, it could very well be the best phone under 15,000. I mean, if you take a look at all things considered. But you know what? I'm more worried about the brand Poco. Now, the M2 Pro is a decidedly safe bet and doesn't do much to actually, upkeep the legacy of the excellent Poco F1. While the Poco X2 had a similar problem, the Redmi K30, which it was based on, never reached our shore. So technically, it was one of a kind in India. Now, as for the M2 Pro, it's merely competing in a space where there's competition available in the form of a near identical twin from its technically parent company Xiaomi. Now, when I spoke to Manmohan, the GM of Poco, about this, he said that Poco is a very small startup with limited resources and therefore has to rely on Xiaomi's inventory, and therefore the rebadging exercise with the Poco M2 Pro. Essentially, Poco's idea is to achieve a certain amount of scale before they can continuously push out their own design IDs. Having said that, achieving this scale could become a bit of a problem if Poco starts losing its identity, considering it's more risk averse now. Now, I'm aware of the existence of the Poco F2 Pro and the fact that it could come to India, but currently we don't have any word on that, so I will reserve my judgment for then. Anyway, these were my thoughts. I'll let you ruminate on that. I hope you guys liked the review. Until next time, this is Ashaq from Mr. Phone signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.